Hello and welcome to the Daily Mill for Thursday the 23rd of January 2025. Now, did you see yesterday's video that I made? I told you that Millwall made a bid for Wolverhampton Wanderers midfielder Luke Cundle. So yesterday, found out we made a bid. Guess what happened today? Yes, the bid was rejected. So, yeah. Yesterday, the bid is announced. Today, the bid is announced as being rejected. And this is from the expressandstar.com, which is the local paper in Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolves reject Mill bid for midfielder. Wolves have rejected an opening bid. So, from Mill for midfielder Luke Cundle. So, obviously, we've just sold Romain Esse and we're going to be selling Zion Fleming at the end of the season, so clubs will add money on. And we wait to see if they move or if they don't. Obviously, we're going in early, the 23rd or the 22nd of January. Obviously, the window closes on the 3rd of February. So we wait to see if we go back in with a slightly improved offer on the last day of the season. Now, obviously, if the player wants to move, he could force the move through, but I mean, he's not even playing, so he's literally like out in the cold. So the fact that why they wouldn't want to sell a player that they've literally treated like shit and sent him out to the edges of the team, I don't know why they would do that, but the 22-year-old is attracting interest from the London club as well as Swansea and Bristol City among a number of Championship sides. Mill have now made their first bid to take Cundle on a permanent deal, but the Express and Star understands Wolves have rejected their offer. And there's apparently you have to pay £125 to read the rest of it, but we got the gist of it, so that's enough for me. So let's move on. So we have more transfer news, and it's not a transfer incoming, it's a possible transfer outgoing. And this is from InsideFootball.com. Mill tipped to let Star go amid Hull City interest. I wonder who that is. I saw the headline and I'm like, who's that then? Who's this? Who are we letting go to Hull? Who's a Star? Apparently it's Murray Wallace. So, Mill's experienced defender. Murray Wallace has attracted interest from fellow Championship side Hull City, according to journalist Alan Nixon. The Tigers are having a difficult season in the Championship as they are currently sitting 22nd in the league table. Ruben Sellers is trying to keep the Tigers up, and the club are looking to bring in experienced players to fight the battle against relegation. Well, they have conceded a lot of goals. Conceding goals has been a real problem for Hull, as they've already allowed 38 goals past them this season. Bringing a defender in is now on their agenda. Mill's 32-year-old Wallace is a player they like. The Scot has played more than 250 Championship matches, and Hull see him as a perfect presence in defence. Wallace has started only 8 games for the Lions this season, and I expect him to let him leave the Den this month. That's interesting. I didn't know that was the case. I didn't really get that idea. I imagine now that we signed Crammer, who's a left-sided centre-back, that we probably don't need Murray Wallace anymore. And I think his contract is up at the end of the season, so now it remains to be seen if Hull will be able to snap Wallace up in the coming days by offering regular game time. So there you go, Murray Wallace. I've got no problem with Murray Wallace, to be honest. He's a pretty solid player, decent player. I have been quite surprised in terms of when he was playing at left back, and to be fair, he wasn't very good. He was slow, got caught out quite a lot, and we conceded quite a few goals down that side. So we're kind of dreading, when Jake Cooper got injured and Murray Wallace was starting there. So, why isn't Harding playing? Why isn't Murray Wallace there? So, actually quite surprised how, not bad. Like, not saying he's been excellent. I haven't literally watched the games back just watching Murray Wallace, but he hasn't done anything seriously bad that stood out. So there is that. So obviously he's playing centre back, which is was his original role really. That left-sided centre back was what he was supposed to be, and he's just playing at left back, I guess. Because we had Cooper and Hutch, so he needs to get in a team. He needs to play at left back, and that's how it was. So if he now, the thing with this, do you know what club we signed Murray Wallace from? It was from Scunthorpe, was it not? I believe. Now Scunthorpe is just down the road from Kingston upon Hull, where Hull City are from. So, I don't know if he still has a place in Scunthorpe. Maybe he does. If you're a League One footballer, mortgages are quite hard to come by. So he may have, if he did manage to get a mortgage for a place in Scunthorpe, he probably kept it on, maybe renting out to someone else while he's down here. So if that's the case, I imagine it wouldn't be that hard for him to go back up to Hull, see out his career. Maybe, and here's the thing, if Hull do get relegated, Murray Wallace will probably stick around them and play in League One. Why not? So, but the thing is, like I said, in these games that Murray Wallace has been playing at centre-back, left-sided centre-back, hasn't really stood out, hasn't really looked that bad, but, as I said, I wasn't paying that much attention. But if we go to soccerbase.com and we look at the results in terms of using their player filter, where you can select results based on players that are playing, and you see here matches with Murray Wallace: 1 win, 2 draws, 6 defeats. Matches without Murray Wallace: 8 wins, 8 draws, and 5 defeats. Obviously, that's not all on him. There has been some upheaval at the club in terms of managers leaving, caretakers, and manager coming in. But only 2 clean sheets when Murray Wallace has been playing in our defence. We haven't conceded that many goals, except for we conceded 2 against Norwich and 2 against Sheffield Wednesday. But and to be fair, we didn't score that many goals. We failed to score in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. So the fault is clearly further up the pitch. But it's there. Like, Murray Wallace isn't excellent. He's not as good as Tanganga. So that's, if you wanted to improve the team, that's one place where you would improve it. So if Murray Wallace does move to Hull City, fair enough. Like, thanks for everything, and cheerio, good luck. And obviously we've played Hull twice already, so we won't have to play him again this season. So there you go. Now, moving on to this. From the Northern Echo. So obviously Thursday is quite... it's the manager interview day, because they travel on Fridays generally, or they train and travel. So they do their press conferences and stuff on the Thursday generally. And they've been speaking to the manager of Middlesbrough. So Middlesbrough and Millwall and Josh Coburn transfer talks. Yeah, we knew about that. But they have got a quote from the manager of Middlesbrough, Michael Carrick. Michael Carrick admits he's not surprised when Mills decides to sign Josh Coburn on a permanent deal this month. Coburn joined the Lions on a season-long loan move late in the summer window, but has so far been limited to just 7 appearances after suffering 2 injury setbacks. But Millwall have still seen enough to want to sign Coburn on a permanent basis. Discussions between Borough and the Lions are understood to be ongoing. So, ongoing. Borough weren't actively looking to sell Coburn this month, but will sanction the move if a deal can be agreed. Neil Harris prioritised the signing of what? Neil Harris prioritised the signing of Coburn in the summer, but was replaced in the dugout by Alex Neil last month. Coburn has not yet played for his new boss, but Neil sees the 22-year-old as a key part of his future plans. Quizzed on Coburn's situation and Mill's interest, Borough boss Michael Carrick said on Thursday, "I wouldn't be surprised for them to think like that. Josh is a good player. He's been unfortunate with injuries this season. He had a bit of a stop-start spell. At that stage, I can't really give you any more than that. And on that one, asked whether a deal this month could be the right time for all parties, Carrick added, that's a decision for us to make if it gets to that. We'll have to wait and see. Coburn is currently sidelined with a broken metatarsal." So interesting. So we're talking about a deal, but we haven't made a bid. But they're talking. So what the fuck are they talking about? And that's a decision for us to make if it gets to that. We'll have to wait and see. Very interesting. Very interesting. Yes. Now, moving on to this from the South London Press, londonnewsonline.co.uk. Whirlwind. Alex Neil sums up start to life as Mill boss. Pardon me. Mill head coach Alex Neil has described his first few weeks at the club as a whirlwind as he works to turn around the Lions' struggling form. The South Londoners' difficulties continued on Tuesday with a 2-2 draw against Cardiff City, meaning the Lions have won just one of their last 13 league games. Neil, who's been in charge for just over 3 weeks, acknowledged the challenges of his early tenure. "It's literally been like a whirlwind since I walked through the door. I've been here for 22 days and I'm still living out of a suitcase. I've not even got a place sorted yet because I've literally just flung myself into work and I've been preparing for games all over the time." Did they not set him up with that flat in Canary Wharf then, or is Gary Rowett's kids still living there? Despite the challenges, Neil remains focused on reversing Mill's fortunes. "I think on a run of form of 1 win in 13 and I've only had 4 games, so this run was happening prior to me getting here. But my job is to try and fix that." Yes it is. Neil could not hide his frustration after seeing his side concede a 97th minute equaliser against Cardiff on Tuesday night. "I thought tonight, suddenly we were up 2 up. It was going to be the night. I think the biggest frustration is if somebody then goes on and performs very, very well and does you with a bit of quality, it's easier to accept. I feel that we've contributed to that now. A lack of composure is probably the best way to describe it." And that's the thing. That's the thing that I was trying to get across the other day. The fact we created those 2 goals that we scored, not the ones we gave away, that we scored, they were made from open play. We didn't nick them from set pieces, we made them. But we also, our errors gifted Cardiff their goals basically. And what I would say is if you stop that, if you correct it, if you improve on that, then how were Cardiff going to score? Because we literally gifted them the opportunity to score. So, if we didn't do that, would they have won? Or would we have won? Almost certainly. Now, moving on to this from, again, the South London Press, londonnewsonline.co.uk. Rahis Bangura-Williams continues to make the most of Mill first team chance. Mill head coach Alex Neil continues to be impressed by the way Rahis Bangura-Williams has stepped up to the first team scene. The 20-year-old attacking midfielder has made his first championship start in Tuesday's 2-2 draw against Cardiff City. Bangura-Williams showed some neat footwork to work the opening for Casper Denor's goal at the Den. All those moments of composure that were lacked at times he had, Neil told Sky Sports after the championship fixture. For the goal, where he sort of chops a lad and cuts back, even in the second half, he takes it and rolls it through his legs and gets away. Those moments of composure, with lacked, and he certainly showed them. He had nothing left. He went down and he knew he was done. He had cramp in both calves. I think he had a lot of nervous energy running up in his body as well. Listen, he was a real positive for us tonight. Yeah, so it did look like cramp, but people saying he did his hamstring. That is cramp. That's the thing as well, a lot of these young players, I don't know why, they do cramp up a lot, and you notice that in the FA Youth Cup game against Chelsea, was it last season or season before? That went to extra time. A lot of players cramping up. So I don't know what that's about. Listen, he was a real positive for us tonight. Former Lions boss Neil Harris was on punditry duty for the channel. I didn't know that. I didn't watch it. Obviously, I was at a game, so I didn't see that. He was excellent. With and without the ball, he pressed really well. With his composure with the football, Alex has talked about him taking the ball in tight areas and showing composure, and he's got that in abundance. What I will say is that people need to be patient with him. He's just starting out his journey, but he showed some real quality moments, especially leading up to that second goal for Millwall. So there you go. The current Millwall manager and the last Millwall manager talking how great RBW is, and if anyone his Bangura-Williams, copyright that, trademark that with the number that you want next season. What if you have a favourite number? Because obviously you're 31 at the moment. I don't know if you want 31 or if they just give that to you. RBW and your number, get that trademarked. And I can't believe this. Obviously, just seen this. I didn't realise that they were doing this because for some reason, Millwall are not showing up on news aggregator site News Now. I don't know why. I don't think it's connected to the updated website, because when they updated the website, it was still working. It's literally just stopped working in the last 2 weeks. It's no skin off my nose. It just means I have to go to Millwall's website to see if there's any news, because it doesn't pop up on News Now. But so this was here. A bid on Millwall versus Cardiff City match-worn shirts. Match-worn shirts from Millwall Sky Bet Championship fixture against Cardiff City are now up for auction. With the Lions tops worn by the Lions starting at 11 available, click the link below to place your bid. The auction closes on the 2nd of February at 2 p.m, which I believe is a Sunday, is it not? So I can't believe this, right? So Rahis Bangura-Williams' shirt is up for auction. That can't be the one that he wore in the game. It can't be. That was his first start in the league. Surely you got to give the shirt to the kid. Maybe he swapped it. He wore 2 in the game, and that's how they get around it. Unless they're lying to us, and this one was worn by someone else, and then they just whipped it out. But whatever, man. I mean, you got to give the kid his shirt. You can't be auctioning his shirt. Even though I guess someone could buy it and give it back to him. But it's £49. £49. Which is not the lowest. The lowest is George Saville. Obviously, some grass stains on the front of that. Maybe that's affecting the price of George Saville's shirt. There's even lower. Duncan Watmore's is 40. Joe Bryan's is 42. Do you remember? I think they still do it actually. In the program, you could sponsor a player's shirt, and you could always tell the players that were like, oh, they're on their way out. They're on their way out, or they're not going to make it because nobody's sponsoring their shirt. And once that happens, it means the fans aren't with you. And you can see here, the lowest, Duncan Watmore, Joe Bryan, and Macaulay Langstaff and George Saville, the lowest ones. Although Reece Bangura-Williams is 49, but Callum Scannon's 50. So there's not much in it, to be fair. But I think that's an indication of what the fans think about those players generally, or from their performance in this game almost certainly. Which is a bit harsh on Duncan Watmore because he did okay. He did assist a goal. He did a lot of jumping out of the way of what other players were trying to do as well, which is, hopefully he didn't get injured doing that. But there you go. So if you want the shirt, pay £50 and get Rahis Bangura-Williams' shirt. like I said, I don't know if it's a real one. They should give the real one to East Bangura-Williams. That's poor, that is. So if you want it, you can bid for it on matchwornshirt.com. And it's on, for next week. So you've got a week to do that. Now, moving on to this. The club put this up. Obviously, they are making kind of big deal about when they sign a youngster. You know, they signed before the Dagenham and Redbridge game. You know, they announced that Bangura-Williams has signed a new contract. Sheldon Kendall had signed a new contract. And now today, you know, Jakob Przewozny signs his first Millwall contract. If you don't know who that is the goalkeeper. I think at the moment he's mostly under 18's number one goalkeeper. And he's been on the bench a few times for the under 21s. I think he's played for the under 21s as well. But here and there. I don't know what's going on with the goalkeeping situation with the under 21s. I think they genuinely try to use... because obviously the first team squad's got 3 goalkeepers, so they try and use Connell Truman. If they can't use Connell Truman, they've got Dylan Adai, they've got George Evans, and they've got Jakob Przewozny. So there's like loads of goalkeepers there, which is why Dylan Adai's gone out on loan, George Evans gone out on loan, so just to get game time, because it's kind of hard to get them game time in under 21s. It's because they generally, they're allowed to use an overage goalkeeper, and it doesn't count against the 3 other outfield overage players that they can have. So why would you not do that, especially when the opposition does it? And even though you're trying to develop players, you are trying to win games as well. It's like a balance. So they've announced this. They're making a big deal out of signing all the youngsters. So Millwall Football Club is delighted to announce that goalkeeper Jakob Przewozny has signed his first professional contract with the Lions. The young stopper, a regular in the club's under 18 and under 21 sides, becomes the latest prospect from the club's academy to commit his future to SC16. Przewozny, 18, will now continue his development with the Lions and work alongside the club's goalkeeping department. Scott Fitzgerald says, Jakob is a leader in the under-18 setup. He's a confident lad and has a great attitude towards any task thrown at him. He's been a standout goalkeeper in the club's Category 2 games programme, and we look forward to helping and watching him develop over time. Now, obviously, it's good for the lad, but what I will say, this is kind of jarring. Like I said, they're making a big deal out of signing all the youth players. We're developing youth, we're pushing youth forward. We want them to get better so that they can then move on to higher clubs, and we make money, they make money. Everyone's happy, yay! Except for the fans who, we're watching good players develop and we're falling in love with them. We think they're fantastic, and then they literally get pimped out to the Premier League and they're gone. So, there's that. But Steve Gallen said in an interview, I think just before the transfer window opened, or maybe shortly after, in terms of discussing contracts with senior pros whose contracts are up at the end of the season. And his quote was something like, I'm going to paraphrase it, we're not going to enter discussions with players whose contracts are up at the end of the season until we are sure we know what league we're going to be in next season. And at the moment, since we've only won 1 game in 13, that might take a while if we don't start winning soon. It could take until March, well, almost certainly maybe the end of March, April. Maybe even, the last game of the season. So, in contrast, the youth players, the young players who are coming in, they're having contracts thrown at them. And it's being quite publicly made. Obviously, I imagine they're not probably on the same amount of money as seasoned pros. But, again, and obviously... You would imagine if they continue on their trajectory that they're developing at, that they will be able to be sold. Maybe not to the Premier League like Romain Nixon, but at least to a League One, League Two club, or even to a Championship team. You know, like Alex Mitchell, you know, Isaac Alofi, players like that, who, you know, have gone on and had very good careers. In terms of what Isaac Alofi, certainly. Alex Mitchell's, you know, it's only his first season away. He's got a lot to do. But he came through our academy and went to a League One team as a starter. So, you know, that's not to be sniffed at. Certainly not. To come through an academy and then still be a professional footballer. You know, there's a lot of clubs and players up and down the country who can't do that. They end up non-league, amateur. You know. So, but like I said, so if you're one of the players whose contract's up at the end of the season, and Steve Gallen has said, oh, we're not going to discuss it, and he said, oh, but, well, the players are playing very well, and I could say, oh, they should keep playing well, and then, you know, it's going to be a no-brainer. Well, they're watching this, and they're seeing this, and they're probably thinking, you know, what the fuck? Like, imagine, like, especially, well, obviously, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but if they're not talking to them at all, as in nothing, I would imagine, like, they go up to them and say, look, here's what the situation. If we get relegated, you're almost certainly not going to get a contract, 100%. If we stay up, then we can talk. But if we do, it's probably only going to be a year. Like, say something to them. Say something. Don't just, like, blackball them, stonewall them, or whatever the phrase is. Because you imagine, like, the fans are looking at the players and seeing how they're performing. But they don't understand, like, how they're being treated behind the scenes. And that's the thing where you've got the disconnect between the manager who's dealing with the players in training and day to day, and then you've got another guy who's nowhere around, who's in charge of the contracts, and he's not taking charge of the contracts. He's not talking to the players. So they have no idea what's going on. Which is, you know, it's poor. It's poor. It's absolutely poor. You should be telling them something. Even if you fucking lie to their face. Like, you've all had managers who bullshit you, saying, oh yeah, no, we're good. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be great. You know, I look forward to, we're going to do all these things. Don't worry about it, you know. Where they say things without saying things, if you know what I mean. You all know these people. You've worked with these people, I'm sure. Well, they say stuff, but then they don't say stuff. In the moment, you feel, oh yeah, you feel, oh, okay, yeah, and then you think about it, and what's actually happening? I don't actually know what's happening. But if they're not talking to them about contracts, and they have no idea, like, no wonder they're playing so poorly. But, you know, we'll see. But there you go. Tomorrow's Friday. Tomorrow is match day for the under-21s. Will this keeper, Jacob Prososny, will he be playing in this game? It's at the training ground, Calmont Road. 2 p.m. kickoff. So, obviously, live tweet and all of that stuff. Let you know tomorrow what the result was, and we'll see who plays in that. And we'll see what the score is, because obviously, if you don't know, if you missed it, we played them on, what was it, Tuesday? Monday? It was Monday. We played them on Monday in Swansea, and we came back to win 4-3. I think it was 3-1, and we came back. So, wonder what this one's going to be like. Probably going to be a 0-0 draw or something like that. Very boring, but there you go. Under 21 game tomorrow. Now, we're going to finish the video by having a little look at the transfers so far this season, especially in our league in the Championship. So Hull have signed a player called Lincoln No idea who that is. Probably, I would guess that he's probably, the fact that he's got one name, he's probably some kind of South American. Either, what's the place where that guy from Chelsea's from? Is it Ecuador? He's either Ecuadorian or Brazilian. I'm guessing. No idea. Probably. Burnley have loaned out a player to Swindon. Probably a youngster. And what else? And they've loaned out a player to Groningen. Halmal Hekdal. Bless you. Swansea have loaned out a player to Leyton Orient. What else? West Brom signed Isaac Price from Standard Liège. Portsmouth has signed the prospect from a striker from Brisbane Roar down under, Thomas Waddingham, and made me realise what happened to that Australian guy that we were linked with, that we were supposed to be signing? He was on trial or something. I don't know, just disappeared. Nothing's happened. So I don't know what's going on. I think that's probably under the old guy, so I don't think Gallen will be looking at that guy anymore. Watford have loaned out to Graza AK Antonio Tikvik. And Zaha has gone to Charlotte FC in the USA. And the reason why he's done that, if you didn't know, is some kind of funny business behind the scene. This guy, and his funny business. You're only allowed to play for 2 clubs in the same calendar year, but it's not January. Well, it's FIFA calendar year, not normal calendar year. But apparently you can go to America and play in America. I'm not sure if this is MLS or USL, because it's not technically a club. It's like a franchise or something. So there's some kind of technicality where you can get around it. It's very weird. This guy's very weird, that the business deal that he's done. Would he go to Man United and went back to Palace, and then all of this stuff is very weird, but whatever. Whatever, bruv, whatever. What else have we got? Not much. Oh, yeah. Sheffield United have signed Ben Brereton Diaz from Southampton on loan. So the geezer's going from a Premier League team to a Championship team on loan. And from a Southern team to a Northern team, which is interesting. James Collins gone from Derby to Lincoln. Is that the same James Collins that was at West Ham? He must be about 40 by now, no? Must be Hull signed Carl Joseph. Get no idea who that is. Blackburn have loaned out Connor O'Riordan. Burnley, this is the one. They have signed John Joe Shelvey. John Joe Shelvey, who went out to Turkey, couldn't get a team. Apparently didn't like it out there, and they ripped up his contract or something, or they didn't like him. Come back to here and gone to Burnley, of all places. Can you believe it? Wilfred Kanga, who was on loan at Cardiff, he's had his loan cancelled, and then he's been sold by Hertha Berlin to Dynamo Zagreb. Okay. And then obviously Romain Esse, we all know about that one. And I think that's about it. I'd say Oxford, Gary Rout's Oxford, as they're officially known now, signed Michael Ellick from Huddersfield. Good signing that, probably a few years later. Isn't he 37? Grant Hanley left Norwich to go to Birmingham. Obviously they're still trying to buy the league. But that was a free transfer, but you know what I mean. And this geezer, the geezer who scored against us the other day, Yusuf Salak, he joined Cardiff on the 17th. So 4 days. 4 days before we played them, he joined them from Sirius, which I thought that was a radio station in America. But there you go. So that's the transfers so far. And obviously we wait to see if there's any more Millwall transfers coming or going. And on that note, thank you for watching or listening, and goodbye.